All right, that might not be entirely true, but I think an awful lot of people like bacon, right?
Unless you're vegetarian like me.
Okay. All right, but if you cook bacon, you got leftovers. Because people don't usually eat the grease. Okay?
Yeah, bacon grease, you can make gravy.
You can make gravy from it. It's true. All right, but let's say you've got some bacon grease. Let's say, I think all of you need to be quiet and listen. Folks, yes, it was funny, but we need to focus on what we're doing here, okay? All right. So, all right, it's enough now. Okay, so if bacon grease spills on your counter, you know, it makes a greasy spot, and it's kind of hard to clean up. It's kind of hard to go over there with just a little water. You put water on it, nothing happens much. You smear it around, okay? Now you can use soap and water and do a pretty good job, but it's still kind of hard to clean it up, even with soap and water once it's cooled down. Well, that's because bacon grease is non-polar, and water's polar.
That's why when you have a grease fire, you don't throw water on.
Actually, there's another reason for that we can talk about another time.
That's my reason.
Okay. So, water molecules, remember, are polar, and so they tend to be attracted to each other. Remember, polar molecules always have a partially positive and a partially negative end. So this is a polar molecule. And bacon grease, being nonpolar, has no charge, okay? So if you have a bunch of these polar molecules around, and a bunch of these nonpolar bacon grease molecules, okay, the polar molecules are attracted to each other by these opposite charges.
So bacon has a charge.
Bacon has no charge. Okay, these are the nonpolar ones over here. Okay, so what happens is the polar stuff is attracted to itself and is not attracted to the nonpolar stuff, and that's why you can't clean up bacon grease with just plain water. Okay, it just doesn't mix together because the water molecules are attracted to each other and not to the bacon grease. So what you need to clean up a bacon grease spill is something that is also nonpolar. Okay, you need a solvent that's also nonpolar. And remember, if we have a nonpolar particle, the only reason that nonpolar particles are attracted to each other is through this process called London dispersion forces, and those are the result of a shift in electron density. So if you have a molecule where the electrons are temporarily all kind of stuck over on one side and very few of them are over on this side, and you have the same sort of thing in a neighboring molecule, okay, then this is a partially negative end and a partially positive end, partially negative on this end and partially positive on this end. And so these can be attracted to each other by that temporary shift in electron density, which creates a temporary polarity, and we call those London forces, London dispersion forces.
I get to the office.
In a minute. Okay?
Wait, why'd you put the arrows in the middle?
To show that they're attracted. What do you want to go to the office for?
Air call my house.
So, in order to clean up bacon grease, we need a non-polar solvent. Okay? We need a non-polar solvent. Anybody think of a household non-polar solvent? What? Pine Sol has a lot of non-polar stuff in it. Sure does. Okay?
Bleach.
Stuff stinks.
Not bleach. Bleach is not non-polar.
What's that stuff you spray? Windex.
Well, like 407 or Fantastic, something like that, those things use a different process. Okay? Now, you wouldn't use this in your house because it smells and because it's flammable, but gasoline is a really good non-polar solvent. And gasoline will clean up a grease spill really, really fast. Huh?
Makes it another stain.
Okay. So Mm-hmm. Okay, so bacon grease is an example of a nonpolar solute, and gasoline is an example of a nonpolar solvent. Again, we wouldn't use it in your kitchen because gasoline is really flammable and doesn't smell very good, but it would clean it up pretty good. Nonpolar solutes and solvent particles are attracted to each other by temporary shifts in electron density, which cause temporary polarity, which results in London dispersion forces between the particles.
I say, excuse me, Dad. Shut up, boy. Man, Chum over here farting and stuff, man. Chum over here farting. Nah, Chum over here farting.
All right. So let's take a short break. You can drink a water. You can stretch.
Chum over here farting.
Huh?
You a